Today, we're going to rank the top 5 safeties in the 2026 NFL draft. And there are some guys in this draft class that I think are better than I thought they were a couple months ago after going back and doing the film work. So today, we're going to talk about that. But I want to remind you guys, round one of the NFL draft, me and my podcast co-host Javon will be live streaming our reactions to each and every pick in round one on draft night. So make sure you're tapped into that. Let's talk about and rank some safeties. No surprise here, but at number 1, I have Caleb Downs out of the Ohio State University. Downs is one of the more impressive prospects just in general in this draft. I think that if safety was a more valuable position in the league, we could really see him go as high as top 3 just based on pure talent for a guy at a position. The physical profile, 6 foot, 206 pounds, the arm length 31 1/4, and a 76 athlete score. Those are some really solid numbers. The stats kind of back that up. 68 tackles, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles with an 83.7 grade. Caleb Downs, man, the quickest way I could sum him up in one sentence is the man does everything you want at the safety position, and he does it at a high level. I was really impressed watching the film on him as a pure tackler. Kind of has some linebacker ability to him as a tackler. I know that Ohio State lined him up at linebacker from time to time because he's just so versatile. You could move him around the field. He absolutely could lay the stick as a tackler. Running backs, be aware of Caleb Downs. He's also a great pass defender, man. You know, I think the best thing that I could say about him, or give you guys as NFL fans the best picture of Caleb Downs if you're not familiar with his game, is Lance Zierlein from the NFL comped him to, and I love this comp, Jalen Petrie from the Houston Texans, one of the better nickel backs in football. I think the reason Downs is a safety is because he's a better pass defender. We talked about this a little bit with Sonny Styles, and I'm not jumping the gun. The guy hasn't played an NFL game yet. Potential-wise, and hear me as I say it, because I'm going to say it again. Potential-wise, we could be talking Hall of Fame. The hype is warranted, in my opinion. Can immediately come in, and I believe this. I believe Caleb Downs can come into the league and immediately be the best player on your team's defense, if not one of the best. Caleb Downs, to me, is a can't-miss prospect. There's not a lot of those in any draft. Maybe not a lot of those, especially in this draft. Caleb Downs, if your team picks him, know that you got yourself a real quality football player. At number 2, I have Oregon safety Dylan Thieneman, and we're going to talk a lot about his production, but I want to start with the physical profile. 6 foot, 201 pounds, the arm length 31 3/8. The 40-yard dash time was a 4.35 from the safety position, just absolutely disgusting, and an 85 athlete score, which ranked first at the safety position. As if the physical profile stuff with the 4.35 speed and the athletic score weren't enough to get you hyped about this guy, let's talk about the production. Last year, he had 92 tackles, 5 pass deflections, and 2 interceptions with a PFF grade of 89.9. And you would think when I say 92 tackles, this guy must have been playing nickelback. Don't get me wrong, Oregon lined him up there sometimes, but this dude was mainly a pure safety, meaning he was literally everywhere on the field. The tackle numbers made you think maybe this guy was primarily a nickel, but nope. He lined up at strong safety. You could line him up as the deep safety. It doesn't matter, dude. This guy had, and listen, I love Caleb Downs and I had him ranked number 1, but Dylan Thieneman is the most versatile safety in this draft class. There's no doubt about it in my mind. If you draft him, you could play him over the top at your version of free safety. You could play him in the box at your version of strong safety. You can convert him to nickel and get a really quality guy that can keep up with any receiver in man coverage because he's got 4.35 speed while also laying down the boom on running backs. Dylan Thieneman is a guy that the more I watched him play, the more I thought, is this safety class more of a 1A, 1B situation? And I know Brett Coleman got killed on Twitter for saying it, so maybe I shouldn't be saying it, but I really think it's the case, and I think you could make an argument, depending on team construction, that Dylan Thieneman could be a better pick for some teams than even Caleb Downs. He's my number 2 ranked safety prospect, so don't read too much into me saying that. But Dylan Thineman, the versatility that he brings, the athletic profile that he brings, and the production that we saw from him year after year at Oregon, I think he had over 300 tackles in his time, was just jumping off the page. Like, yeah, this guy's really good. And I think I've seen him rise up draft boards, rightfully so. At pick 12 to Dallas, as an Eagles fan, I'd absolutely hate it. So kind of tells you everything you got to know. If a team in my division took Dylan Thineman, I'd be pissed. He's that damn good. At number 3, to no surprise, I have McNeil-Warren. I feel like the top 3 safeties in this draft are pretty much set. McNeil-Warren does bring a pretty different aspect to his game in terms of size and the way that he plays as a box safety. Physically, he's 6'4", 201 pounds with an arm length of 32 1/8 inch. He ran a 4.52 40 and had a 74 athlete score. McNeil-Warren did fill up the stat sheet as well. 77 tackles, 2 interceptions, 6 pass deflections, and 3 forced fumbles with a grade of 92.1. This is a hard-hitting box safety, more of your strong safety type, right? Yes, he has the 4.52 speed, but in terms of where he is in terms of covering receivers, I'd probably want him in the box more than I would want him over the top personally. And I also think he can make more of an impact as a box safety. He has a real nose for the football. The 3 forced fumbles from the safety position aren't an accident. The peanut punch is there with this guy. The interception skills, the ball hawking ability is there. McNeil-Warren is the kind of guy that's going to come to your team, and yes, he's going to be productive down over down, but he really has the ability to be a game changer at the safety position and flip games on its head with his turnover creation. And again, is he the best against speed and coverage? No. Is he clearly the number 3 guy for me at this safety position? Yes, he is, but McNeil-Warren is a guy worth taking and is a guy worth being excited about. I think he's probably a fringe first round talent. Kind of depends on your scheme, but if you get him, just know that your team is getting a difference maker at the safety position with some elite measurables. Kind of reminds me a little bit of McNeil-Warren, and well, we saw Seattle's defense last year, how it worked out after they got him. They were top 2 in football and went on to win a Super Bowl. So McNeil-Warren, yeah, it's a guy I'd be pretty excited about. At number 4, I have what I believe to be one of the more underrated prospects in this draft, and that's A.J. Halusi out of LSU. 6 foot, 215, arm length 30 7 inches, a 4.52 40-yard dash, and a 75 athlete score. When you look at Halusi, this guy might be the best ball hawk safety in this draft. The production showed at LSU. 89 tackles, 3 interceptions, 4 pass deflections, a PFF grade of 86.6. You know, kind of the opposite of McNeil-Warren, where I thought McNeil-Warren, that's a box safety. Halusi, I think that is a free safety. And I wouldn't be shocked if you saw him go ahead of McNeil-Warren, because maybe the team picking needs a damn free safety that could force turnovers. And that can get done with this guy. He's going to get tons of interceptions at the NFL level. I already know it. He's also a really good tackler for a coverage safety. Again, I expect him to be matched up deep down the field, making plays on the ball against some of the best deep threats in the NFL. But if you need him to be that second level or tackler against a running back or an underneath route, I think he's also pretty dependable for that as well. You hear a lot of talk about this being, oh, there's only 3 safeties in this draft class that are really good, but personally, I think it's 4 at this point in time. Like many safeties, the weakness to his game, not the shiftiest. You probably don't want him in man coverage being the guy match up one-on-one with a receiver. You'd kind of ideally like him in single high. I know that there's some blitz coverages out there where everybody's just kind of man-to-man, and at that point, I'd probably say hope that the linebackers and edge just get home and just kind of hold your nuts until the end of the play. But I do think this is a really solid safety prospect. And then at number 5, out of USC, I have Kamari Ramsey. The physical profile, 6 foot, 202 pounds, arm length 30 5/8, 40-yard time, 4.47 speed, and an athlete score of 77. Really impressive stuff there as an athlete out of USC. The production wasn't quite where you'd want it to be, with 27 tackles, 2 pass deflections, and a PFF grade of 72.5. I think you could really make a case that this is the hardest hitting safety in this draft class, though. And as a guy who is going to crash down on both run plays and underneath passing spots, Kamari Ramsey could force some big plays for your team. He has the athletic ability to play both strong and free safety, but again, I think more of a box safety, similar to McNeil-Warren, the way that I talked about that. The change of direction from crispier route runners is going to leave him stuck. I think more of a late day 2 guy because he's not really consistent and more of a project piece, but I think worth investing in for sure. As always, we're going to tier rank these guys. In tier 1, I have Caleb Downs and Dylan Thinneman. Tier 2, McNeil-Warren and AJ Halusi. And then tier 3 by himself, I have Kamari Ramsey. So that is it for my safety rankings. And this is actually the last video that I am filming in my draft profile breakdowns position by position. Let me know if this is something you want to continue to see for next year. I had a lot of fun doing it, so I'm probably going to do it on my own anyways. And I figure it's decent content if people want to learn about stuff. But again, I don't know what everybody likes. Maybe you'd be like, Dylan, just actually throw out a shit ton of mock drafts and maybe like a gems video. That's what we want to see. Let me know as always in the comment section down below. I appreciate your guys' support. If you made it this far in the video, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and I will catch you next time. Peace.